Jumsum. We would say Bosco lives in house number 9, barks only at 2 p.m., and absolutely loves to sleep. Similarly, what is carbon's identity? Probably an element that has atomic number 6 present in the second row of the periodic table. Boring. What is carbon here for? What is the importance of its existence? Do we need to summon Professor X for the answer? We literally would not be able to exist without carbon. It is that important. It is known to be present in some form or the other in every known life form on Earth. How? We all are made up of cells. Cells contain molecules, which contain atoms. Carbon is one such type of atom, but it comes in different shapes and forms. Ever been to the beach? Beach? Did I hear beach? Surfing time! Hold on, Umsum. Almost everything that you see there, the rocks, the shells, even the ocean, contains carbon. Even a tennis racket, the lead of your pencil, your favorite fizzy drink, or even a sparkly diamond, they all have carbon. Looks like almost everything seems to either contain carbon or needs carbon to survive. But then, if carbon is so super high-level important, won't it get all used up? That's where nature steps in and saves all of us. It is constantly recycling carbon so that we don't run out. Just like a spinning wheel, carbon is also constantly circulating between living and non-living things. The cycle is called the carbon cycle. Now, we can further divide this cycle into the biological carbon cycle and the geological carbon cycle. The biological cycle can span from a few days to thousands of years, while the geological cycle can go on for millions of years. Let's first talk about the biological carbon cycle. The cycle starts with the autotrophs. Who are they? The cool guys who can make their food. Plants. Oh. Can you make your own food, Umsum? Well, I can order my food all by myself. Does that count? Ugh, forget it. The cycle begins with the process of photosynthesis in plants. To make their own food, plants need carbon. Oh. This carbon is present in the air in the form of carbon dioxide. During photosynthesis, in the presence of sunlight, plants take in carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is then converted into glucose molecules. This is what the chemical equation looks like. Now, when we get a week's supply of food home, do we eat it up all at once? No. We eat some, we store some, right? Similarly, the glucose formed is used up by the plant for its activities or stored for future use. Now, what about us or even dogs, tigers, etc.? None of us can make our own food, so we either eat plants or other animals to survive. We are the heterotrophs. Who am I then? I only need burgers to survive. Anyways, when animals eat plants, the carbon content in the plants is transferred to them. Now, some animals like lions, tigers, etc. do not eat plants. But they do eat the plant-eating animals, right? When that happens, the carbon content enters their bodies as well. In this way, carbon enters all of us through the food chain. Now, time for the second half of the biological carbon cycle. As the sun rises every day, it also has to set. Similarly, the carbon that comes in has to go out. But how? Should I use a vacuum cleaner to suck the carbon out? No. When plants and animals respire, they release this carbon content into the atmosphere. How does that happen? When plants or animals need energy, they break down the carbon-containing glucose molecules through a process called cellular respiration. Just like we convert sugar to sugar syrup, this breakdown converts the trapped carbon into carbon dioxide, which is then released back into the atmosphere. This is the chemical equation of respiration. Also, when plants and animals die, they start to decay. Decomposers act on the dead organic matter, releasing carbon dioxide. Thus, the carbon content that was taken in by the organisms is released back into the atmosphere, marking the end of one biological carbon cycle. Yay! Carbon's going back to his mommy! Oh, I'm some. Only you can say something like that. Now, let's talk about the other type of carbon cycle, the geological one. In geological carbon cycle, carbon circulates between air, water, rocks, soil through processes like weathering, sedimentation, subduction, volcanic eruptions, etc. Let's dial down a little bit and understand step by step. In the atmosphere, when carbon dioxide dissolves in raindrops, it forms weak carbonic acid. This acidic rainwater, on reaching the Earth's surface, slowly starts causing the weathering of the rocks, forming carbonate compounds. Now, due to erosion, these carbonates are washed into the oceans. Then, they get deposited and start settling at the bottom of the ocean. Over time, just like a stack of pancakes, several layers of sediment accumulate on the sea floor. When conditions are suitable, large deposits of this sediment convert into rocks like limestone. Formation of such limestone rocks isolate or sequester carbon for millions of years in the Earth's crust. This process of capturing and storing carbon is termed as carbon sequestration, and the natural reservoirs like limestone rocks that store carbon are called carbon sinks. Now, when one tectonic plate of the Earth moves beneath another, the limestone rocks are pushed deeper into the Earth. This process is called subduction. What happens if we heat ice? It melts, right? Similarly, within the Earth, heat and pressure cause the limestone rocks to melt, releasing carbon dioxide from the rocks. Through volcanic eruptions, this carbon dioxide is released back into the atmosphere, completing the geological cycle. Besides this, due to human activity, a lot of additional carbon dioxide is being emitted into the atmosphere. How? Millions of years ago, many plant and animal remains containing carbon got buried deep into the soil. Just like I bury my secret treasure. Stop it, some. Within the Earth, these remains were subjected to extreme temperature and pressure for millions of years. Eventually, they got converted into fossil fuels such as coal, natural gas, oil, etc. Now, for most of our activities, like cooking, driving, etc., we use these fossil fuels, releasing the stored carbon back into the atmosphere. Ah, that's what I've been saying all along. Stop cooking. Start ordering. Stop it, some. Such human activities are affecting the carbon cycle. Due to Industrial Revolution, the demand for fossil fuels has risen globally. Just like eating food happens much faster than cooking it, fossil fuels are being used up much faster than they can be naturally formed. Also, as burning of fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide, it has led to elevated levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We know that plants absorb carbon dioxide and help in maintaining the carbon dioxide balance. Large-scale deforestation has thus contributed to the increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide. So, overall, nature has devised a great system of recycling carbon in the atmosphere, whether biologically through plants and animals or geologically through limestone and weathering. It is now our responsibility to maintain it. Which organisms release carbon from dead things into the atmosphere? Heterotrophs, autotrophs, decomposers, producers. Come on, guys. Clock is ticking. Start typing your answers in the comments section. The correct answer is option number 3, decomposers. Ready for the second one? Here we go. When carbon is captured and stored for many years, the process is called carbon subduction, carbon sequestration, weathering, cellular respiration. And your time has begun. Think fast and write your answer or correct option in the comments section. The correct answer is option number 2, carbon sequestration. Last question, guys. Good luck. Which process does not release carbon into the atmosphere? Photosynthesis, volcanic eruptions, weathering, cellular respiration. And your time has begun. The correct answer is option number 1, photosynthesis. Why does our stomach growl?
'Cause there are bears in our stomach.
Nah. Growling sound is produced mostly due to movement of gas in the digestive tract, especially in the intestines. Now, gas can either enter or be produced in the intestines.
But how?
When we eat food very quickly, sometimes we swallow gas such as air along with food. Besides this, bacteria in our intestines also produce gases. Now, during digestion, the muscles of our intestines contract in order to push food ahead. However, gases also get pushed along with food. Now, as our intestines are hollow tubes, such movement of gases produces growling sounds. Besides this, hunger increases growling. This is because when we are hungry, our digestive system starts preparing for the next meal. Hence, it clears the remains of last meal, causing more muscle contraction, thus producing more growling sounds. Why is yawning contagious?
'Cause everybody wants to sleep.
Nah. There are a couple of theories which explain why yawning is contagious. One of them suggests that it is a sign of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share others' feelings. For example, when people around us are happy and smiling, they make a positive impact on us. Hence, we also feel good and begin to smile. Moreover, the closer we are to someone such as our parents or friends, the more likely we are to catch their yawn.
Dude, that's awesome.
Another theory suggests that mirror neurons present in our brain make us copy or mimic the actions performed by someone else. Hence, when we see people around us yawn, our mirror neurons get activated, thus making us mimic their yawn. We may have evolved such characteristic to promote social bonding.
Why do dogs lick their wounds?
Dogs, including animals like cats, chimpanzees, rodents, etc., don't have access to a proper medical treatment. Hence, a little licking helps to heal and clean the wound.
What? But how?
When dogs lick, they apply saliva on their wounds. This saliva has antiviral and antibacterial compounds like an enzyme called lysozyme. Lysozyme destroys cell walls of certain bacteria and helps kill them, thus preventing infection. The saliva also contains a protein called tissue factor, which promotes blood clotting and thus stops bleeding. Besides this, licking also removes dirt from the wound.
So dogs should always lick their wounds.
No, excess licking is not beneficial. This is because a dog's saliva can also contain harmful pathogens. They could aggravate the wound and make it more painful. Hence, nowadays, dogs are made to wear an Elizabethan collar to prevent them from licking. What is sleep paralysis?
No idea.
Sleep paralysis is a condition in which we are conscious but temporarily unable to move or speak. It can usually occur when we suddenly wake up during REM sleep.
What is REM sleep?
Basically, there are 4 stages of sleep. One of them is rapid eye movement sleep. That is REM sleep. In this stage, we dream. Researchers suggest that when we enter REM sleep, 2 chemicals, glycine and GABA, switch off the activity of cells in the brain that allow our muscles to move.
Oh no, this is so bad.
No. It is actually beneficial because paralyzed muscles prevent us from enacting our dreams in reality and getting hurt. However, sometimes we suddenly wake up during REM sleep. But if glycine and GABA are still active, we are temporarily unable to move, even though we are conscious. This is called sleep paralysis. What is asthma?
It is a nickname for cinema.
Stop bluffing. Asthma is a lung disease. A person with asthma has red and swollen bronchial tubes with a lot of mucus. As a result, the bronchial tubes get narrower than normal, thus making it hard to breathe. Besides this, the bronchial tubes are highly sensitive to irritants like pollen, tobacco smoke, dust, etc. When an asthmatic person inhales an irritant, the tubes become much more swollen and more mucus is produced. This causes further narrowing of the tubes. This narrowing makes exhalation harder than inhalation. Hence, carbon dioxide-rich air gets trapped in the person's body and he does not get sufficient supply of fresh oxygen. As a result, the person can have severe shortness of breath and a feeling of tightness in the chest. When an asthmatic person experiences such problems, he is said to have an asthma attack. Why does Saturn have rings?
Because it has got engaged.
No. Scientists don't exactly know why Saturn has rings, but they think that it is related to Roche limit.
What is Roche limit?
Roche limit is the distance from the planet at which objects in orbit around the planet tend to be ripped apart by the planet's gravitational pull. Now, based on the Roche limit, one of the prevailing theories is that Saturn's rings are remnants of celestial bodies like a moon or a comet. Billions of years ago, a celestial body may have got too close to Saturn, exceeding the Roche limit. Hence, its side facing the Saturn was pulled more strongly as compared to the side facing away. So, this inconsistent gravitational pull may have ripped apart the celestial body into pieces. Finally, these pieces may have started revolving around Saturn, forming its beautiful rings. Why do bees build hexagonal honeycombs?
I don't know.
Honeybees build honeycombs to store honey, pollen, eggs, etc. The honeycombs are built using beeswax, which honeybees produce themselves. However, honeybees produce very less amount of this wax. Hence, honeybees required a shape that would give them maximum storage using minimum beeswax. Now, if each cell of the honeycomb would be a circle, then there would be a lot of gaps or wasted space between cells.
So why didn't honeybees make triangular or square cells? These shapes don't leave any wasted space.
Popular research suggests that hexagonal cells use less wax and provide more space as compared to triangles and squares. This means honeybees can store more honey while using the least amount of wax. Besides this, the overall structure is much more stable and strong. What is deja vu?
It is a magical power.
Nah. Deja vu is a French term, which literally means already seen. As the name suggests, it is a strange feeling that the current situation has happened before. It is an experience in which places seem familiar, although you have visited that place for the first time.
But what causes deja vu?
One of the prevailing theories suggests that sometimes visual information from one of our eyes is transmitted a little late to the brain. So information from first eye reaches the brain first. Now, when the information from the other eye reaches the brain a little late, our brain receives the same information twice. Hence, the situation or place appears familiar. It appears as if we have seen it already. That is, we experience deja vu. Why do people go bald?
How would I know?
Alright, I'll explain. Our hair grows from hair follicles. We have about 100,000 hairs on our head. Every day, we usually lose about 100 hairs. If new hairs don't start growing from those places, then we are probably balding. Medical term for baldness is alopecia.
Oh, its spelling is so complicated.
One of the main reasons for balding is hormones. We have a hormone called testosterone. In our body, testosterone is converted into dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. Now, some people's hair follicles are highly sensitive to dihydrotestosterone. Hence, their hair follicles begin to shrink and their hairs get thinner and thinner. Why do old books smell so good?
'Cause books secretly apply perfume.
No. Smell of old books is basically because of paper and ink in those books. Paper is primarily made up of wood. Wood is made up of organic compounds like cellulose and lignin. Over the years, these compounds react to heat, light, and moisture, and begin to break down, releasing VOCs.
VOCs means vanilla orange cakes, right?
Nah. VOCs stand for volatile organic compounds. These compounds easily vaporize and mix in the air, thus forming the smell of old books. Now, there are different types of VOCs. A volatile organic compound called vanillin gives vanilla-like smell. Another VOC, benzaldehyde, gives almond-like smell. Ethylbenzene gives a sweet smell. In short, the combination of various compounds makes old books smell so good.